Okay, what's up guys? Um, this is my first video with actual speaking with it in me. I don't know if I'll even say that but not, but this is my first video with me actually speaking. Um, so one of my clients actually asked me like, how do I make a script that will remove a certain accessory from a player or remove all the accessories from a player? So I thought let me actually make a video of that and show you how it's done step by step. Okay, so for those who actually don't know what is an accessory, is if we go to a dummy, right? This is everything a dummy holds. So for example, here we can see there's no actual accessory in it, right? Because it's only the actual parts of the dummy. So let's take this for as a player, for example. If a player to join a game like this, and you're trying to remove an accessory from this character, nothing's going to get removed because there is no accessory. So the time to check whether there is an accessory or not, let's say if we did a bag, for example, let's do a sword. Let's see if there is actually a sword here. Um, okay, let's leave that out because I don't think there is any sword. Yeah, no, there's not. Okay, but for example, right, let me just click play and I can show you with using my characters to what an accessory actually is. So if you look at this mouthpiece here, that's an accessory. If you look at this hat piece, that's an accessory. Okay, the hair, that's an accessory. So if we look at this, right, there's my character, my player, and then also known as a character, right? Because if I click it, that's the whole player. Now, these things here are all the accessories. If I delete that, you see my character looks like this dude here, but it just has an outfit on, right? Clothes and pants. So for example, if I delete all of that, I look just like him, right? So let's actually see how we can make sure that everything, for example, we touch a part and then it removes every single accessory in the player, right? So what we can do here is just add a normal script, okay? And then we want to add a touch event, connect function, and then we want to check the player, not the player, we want to use hit. We do this so we have more accuracy, and for example, why also hit is that we can see this part here is touching the base plate. So even though if we had to play and we put, let's say, nothing there, it's gonna fire automatically because it's not detecting what is actually touching it. So there is something touching, but it's gonna fire immediately because something is touching it because we're using a touched event, right? But we use hit so we can actually manage it and manipulate it. So what we're gonna do is local player equals game.players get player from character hit.parent. Right, so what this is going to do is instead of putting player here, it's going to get the player from hit, the person who actually touched this brick. Right, now we want to make sure that we don't get any errors. So if player, then, so what this statement is doing now is checking, even though this was touched, right, it was hit. Now we classified and we made a variable saying local player, and we're getting that player from the character who touched that block, hit.parent, right? So you'd get the hit. So in this instance, this base plate is touching this part, so the part is hit. The parent of part is base plate, right? Because the base plate is touching the part. But now we're not checking the base plate. We're trying to say that if the hit was indeed a player, then it needs to do the following. So now we're going to get the character. So you can say character, right? Doesn't matter. I like to keep my stuff short. So local char equals player.character or player.character added weight. So this here is not really needed, this part. All it does is, if there is no character yet touching this place, this part, it's going to wait for that character before it fires, right? Okay, now we need to get the accessories. So how are we going to do that now? I'm just going to say local char ACC, local character accessories, equals char get children. Okay, now this is gonna get every single children inside of this inside of the player. So for example, with the dummy, right, you had the torso, the left arm, and all that. That's the children of the actual character. So in our instance, it's gonna loop through every single part that's inside of that character. Okay, now how do we actually loop through this? You would use a for loop for I comma. What we can actually do is that for I comma v in is let's do that. So what this is doing now, it's gonna go, for example, if we have, let's do this, let's add another cylinder, for example. Okay, let's do C1, and I'll put C1 inside of pot, right? And I duplicate. This is all the children of pot. Okay, the pot is the parent, these are the children, right? Bit confusing, but if you do get confused, just watch the video over. Okay, let's continue. So what we're doing here now is creating a for loop, and in this for loop we're going to actually check each and individual part that's inside of the character and verify if it's an accessory or not an accessory. And if it is an accessory, we're going to delete it. Okay, so here we're going to say if v is a accessory, then, so now as mentioned, if v meaning is a value, so it's going to check whether the part is a accessory or not. Okay, so if v is an accessory, then v destroy. Okay, now outside of this if statement we need to add a weight, otherwise it's going to break your game. Okay, so here we're going to add task.weight 0.1, for example. So all this is going to do now, it's going to check the player, verify if it's an accessory or not. If it is an accessory, it's going to destroy it, right? So let's actually test this out. So let's clear that. So as you can see, my character looks full. We come here, Hulkster, he has all my parts, the children. These here are the accessories. Okay, all of these things with the hat on it is an accessory. Now, watch how all of this disappears once we touch that block. Do you see? All those hats have disappeared. Why? Because now what it's done is it's looped through every single part here, verified all the accessories, and then deleted them after it verified everything. Okay. But now it comes to the point to actually, how do I remove one accessory? Let's say I have a hat in my game and I want to verify if that player has that hat, and if they have it, it needs to destroy it and give them like a new hat, so they're not duplicating hats. So let's actually do that quickly. So I'm going to take my mask, which is going to be this part here. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy that name, go back to into our script. Now in here, in this part, what we're going to do is, and v.name equals sorry, forgot that, equals that, then it needs to destroy the part, right? Okay, so now what it's going to do is it's going to destroy my mask only and not the other accessories. So let's actually test that. So I touched it, should delete this, and it did indeed. So instead of deleting every single accessory, it only deleted the mask. And that's the script. So if you have any questions or confusions, drop a comment and then I'll see if I can actually help you out. Or if you have other requests that you want me to show you, then feel free to comment that also below and then I can see if I can do it for you guys.